I hit $15,000 a month online just a couple months after having this dark realization about college. And look, before we get into this video, I just want to preface and tell you that I'm not here to tell you that college is completely useless for everybody and nobody should do it, because obviously that's not true. But for me personally, I realized that paying $40,000 a year to learn things that I was never going to use from professors who had never actually done the thing that they were teaching me was quite literally useless. And the moment I came to that realization, I started my pursuit of making money online and everything changed for me. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what that dark realization was, how it came about, and ultimately then what path I started going down and how I ended up progressing to making $15,000 a month just a couple months after dropping out of college. I'm sitting inside of my mechanical engineering classes, all of my basic calculus classes and physics classes, and I'm sitting there learning from professors who had never actually been mechanical engineers themselves. Or if they had been, it was 10 or 20 years ago and they don't even really remember that information that much. This same exact principle is applied to business majors. You know, you're learning from a professor, not somebody who's actually ran a business. If that professor was running a successful business, he most likely wouldn't be teaching as a professor. And even if he was somehow running a business, he is working as a professor, and obviously that takes time away from being able to build that successful business. Additionally, while I was sitting inside of my mechanical engineering classes, I realized that I was spending anywhere from 20 to 30 grand a year for these classes. And look, at the end of the day, I'm very thankful that my parents had a college fund going for me and that I was able to support with some of this, but it still isn't logical. Obviously that money could go elsewhere. Meanwhile, I'm sitting inside of my classes too, and I understood from the very beginning of college, if I actually tried, I could dust my entire competition, but I didn't want to actually try. I wanted to think about other things. I wanted to play video games. I wanted to focus on building businesses. I wanted to focus on getting in shape. I knew that if I actually put my foot down and tried in school, I would be one of the best there, but I didn't want to do that. And so I was the type of student that would get A's and B's, but I would literally just coast by and not study for a single final. And so all of this essentially adds up to, like, I'm paying money to be miserable. I'm paying anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 a year to learn from a professor who isn't actually doing the thing that they're teaching me. Meanwhile, I don't even care about the thing that they're teaching me, even if they were doing it, because I want to go do other things. Coincidentally enough, too, at the same time, I, for some reason, was talking to a bunch of older people who had already gotten their college degrees. And I would hear time and time again, the person that went through the 4 years of college, spent all the money, went through all the classes and all the finals and stuff like that. They got their degree, and now in their profession, they don't even use the degree that they got. I would hear that story countless times from dozens of different people. And so all of that essentially added up to me realizing that college was not the path for me. You know, look, like, if you want to go down the college path and you want to go through that and go get a job, like, fair enough to you. I have no condemnation for you. Go down that path, keep exploring that, and go make it happen. I'm making this video specifically for people who are already starting to think these things that I've already said in this video, and maybe you're not fully persuaded whether you want to drop out or keep pursuing college, but you're starting to think the things that I shared with you already in this video. At the age of 23 now, looking back on my college experience, I now realize that college essentially is a trap for trading time and money for a piece of paper. Ironically enough, this piece of paper is lowered in value every single year. Meanwhile, costs and tuitions are increasing every single year. And so in my opinion, college is not the most optimal route for young men to go down if you're trying to set yourself up for a life of financial success. Because the problem with college is it happens during the ages of 19 to 23. And the reality is during those ages, you actually have the most amount of work ethic and the most amount of energy that you will likely ever have in your entire life. Additionally, too, you have the least amount of responsibilities. And so during that time period is actually when you should be starting businesses and you should be taking massive risks. This is when you should be grinding. This is when you should be working your ass off, not sitting in exams and being forced to learn information that you don't care about. Look, I want to preface this right now and be very clear with you. I am not anti-education. I think education is one of the best things that you can do, and I'm constantly intrigued and wanting to learn about new things every single day on a consistent basis. I always want to learn about theology and psychology and science and stuff like that, but it's like when you're being forced to learn information that you don't actually care about and you don't know if that's what you want to pursue, that's where it gets tricky. To summarize, I'm not anti-education, I am anti-wasting time. And so look, I came to these realizations about halfway through my freshman year of college, and instead of being a complete idiot like some people would do and just dropping out of college then and there, I started planting seeds so that I could set myself up for success when I was ready to pull the trigger. I started going down the path of making money online while I still pursued college. And this might be controversial advice. A lot of people say that you need to quit your job or you need to drop out of college to pursue making money online. And I don't actually think that that's true. I think there's things that you can do with a couple hours every single day to start to build even just a little bit of money and get to the point where it's starting to snowball a little bit, and then get to the point where you're making like 3 to 5K per month, or maybe even more than that. And then you can remove those things. Then you can quit that job. Then you can drop out of college. And so this is exactly what I did. I started actually making money online in addition to college. And like, yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, you're going to have to become very, very time efficient. Yes, you're probably going to have to give up partying and drinking and all that degenerate stuff, which you shouldn't be doing anyways. But the reality is, as a young man, these can be considered your prime years. And during these prime years, you shouldn't be wasting your time doing all that stuff anyways. You should be locked in, you should be grinding, you should be working 12 hours a day. Look, quite simply for me, so that you can understand, I was majoring as a mechanical engineer. And in addition to that, I was also working part-time as a lifeguard. But during this time period, I started looking into ways to make money online on top of that. I only had about 3 to 4 hours a day if I squeezed in my schedule perfectly. And so I looked for ways that I could start making money online on top of that. And so the alternative option to this path is you can start going down the skills ladder. If you don't know what the skills ladder is, the skills ladder works perfectly hand in hand with people who are either in 9-to-5 jobs or going to college right now, as something you can stack in addition to that. Don't get me wrong, it's not gonna be easy. You're gonna have to dedicate your 6 to 8 hours a day at the job or at college in this video that we're talking about, and you're gonna have to do a little bit of work on the side in addition to that. But the skills ladder gives you an opportunity where you can focus on building your skill set over time and starting small with the limited amount of time that you have, making money. And then as a byproduct, when you have more and more time and you're making more and more money, you can release your commitments to college, to a 9-to-5 job, and you can scale your income while you're doing that. This, in my opinion, is the most optimal route by far. Instead of quitting college or quitting some nice income stream for yourself, you can build over time. And ironically enough, if you've ever seen any videos of me talking about my story and my experience with making money online, you'd know that this is the exact path that I went down. Now, I've made very in-depth, specific 40-minute videos covering the skills ladder, and you can find those on my channel. But basically, to summarize, what you want to first start doing is you want to build initial skill sets of sales. You want to take about 2 to 3 or so hours a day, and you want to commit that for about 3 to 14 days to just building your skill of sales and practicing. Once you do that and you get into a good spot, then you can move on into level 2, which is becoming a DM appointment setter. As a DM appointment setter, you're usually going to be working about 4 to 5 hours per day, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, depending on the business that you land. And you're usually going to be in a position where you can make anywhere from 3K per month to about 6K per month. Obviously, this isn't like crazy money yet. You're making 3 to 6K per month. Like, that might be full-time income for some people, but at the end of the day, you're not making 15K, 20K, 30K per month where you're like living this amazing lifestyle yet, but you can start building there. And the beauty is you can make this income while you're still in college and or while you're working a part-time or a full-time job. You can use this to start to build some additional side income for yourself so that eventually you can go all in on it in the very near future. This is exactly what I did. Again, after that first semester, I came to these realizations, and going into the second semester, I started making money online as a DM appointment setter. And after a couple months of doing that, I was consistently making anywhere from 4 to 5K per month. I was doing this while I was working 30 hours a week as a lifeguard and while I was taking all my college classes, still studying for my finals, and still just doing enough to get by. It's not easy. It's going to require a lot of work. It's going to require you to maybe cut time from hanging out with friends or sleeping or something like that. But the reality is you're setting yourself up for a life of success, and you should be thinking about the long term. Level 2 and level 3 on the skills ladder are becoming a DM appointment setter and a phone setter. And so these are positions where you can make like 3K per month to like 7K per month, which is decent income again. The beauty is though, is you can use a lot of these positions to transition into level 4, level 5, and level 6 on the skills ladder, where you can really start making serious money for yourself. And this is exactly what I did. By the time my freshman year ended up, again, I was making 4 to 5K per month as an appointment setter. And so my college classes were over for the summer. And so I came home and I locked the fuck in. I started transitioning into level 4, which is becoming a closer. I started transitioning into level 5, which is becoming a hybrid. And at this point, I started making anywhere from 10 to 15K per month. And then later on, a couple months later, I started making anywhere from 15 to 20K per month. If you're able to make 4 to 5K per month with only a couple hours of your time every single day, there's a good chance that now when you have the full day, you can make a lot more money than that. And so once you're at a spot where you're making 4 to 5K per month in level 2 or level 3 of the skills ladder, then you can quit that 9 to 5 job, or you can drop out of college, or you could even take a gap year like I said to my parents that I was doing. And then you can lock in and make way more money with the time that you now have. I want to preface this again because this is very important. This is not going to be easy. I'm making it sound very simple, and it actually is quite simple in my opinion, as long as you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. But this is not going to be easy, especially in the beginning while you're still in that 9 to 5 job or you're still in college and you're having to manage the fuck out of your time very, very well. This is going to require you to be extremely optimal and extremely efficient. And some people straight up just don't have what it takes. But if you're somebody that has succeeded in other parts of your life and you think deep down that you will be successful one day, then you can probably do this and you can probably succeed. When you're headed down level 4, level 5, level 6 of the skills ladder, you will come to the realization that you will not need a college degree ever again in your life, and you won't need to work a regular job ever again in your life. Like for me, just a couple months after finishing my freshman year of college, I told my parents that I wanted to take a gap year to focus on making money online. And they were extremely skeptical at first, but I did a lot of persuading, and over time they came around to it. A couple months after that, I was making anywhere from 15 to 20K per month online, fully remote, in my parents' basement, working all day, every day. And with this, I started being able to experience some really cool stuff. While all of my friends were still going to college, still stressing about their finals, and still getting hammered on the weekends, what I was doing is I was meeting up with business partners worldwide. I took a 5-week trip to Mexico where I worked remote the entire 5 weeks in a sick ass apartment. I did that again for 6 weeks in the Canary Islands, where I worked there for an entire 6 weeks straight, fully remote, making 15 to 20K per month, locked the fuck in with some of my boys. And the funny part is getting to the point where I was making 4 to 5K per month because I still had college and my part-time job and appointment setting. I would say that this is harder than getting to 15 to 20K per month. But I'm incredibly grateful that I took that risk and I started to realize the trap that college can be for some people. Now look, if you're somebody in college right now, hopefully this video spoke to you, and I don't want to persuade you to do anything, because if you really think that you want to go down the college path, fair enough to you. Go do it. If you're starting to get the gut feeling though, and some wheels are starting to turn in your head that maybe college isn't the route for you, or maybe you even went down the wrong major or the wrong path, and you're not really sure what you should be doing next, you don't really know what your future is going to look like, and honestly, you're a little bit scared, this is the perfect thing for you to do. This gives you a fair opportunity to use the limited amount of time that you have to focus on literally just getting better and building your skill sets every single day. I've made specific videos covering the skills ladder in depth that are like 40 minutes or 50 minutes, so you should definitely check those out if you want to go down this path. But if you're looking for somebody like myself to go in and mentor you through the full process of you starting to make a little bit of money online for yourself, but then eventually starting to get to the point where you can drop out of college, quit your 9 to 5 job, get to the point where you're making 5 to 10K per month online, fully remote, then I have the perfect opportunity for you. I run a one-on-one coaching program on the side of my other business that makes me a lot of money, and I do it because I love helping people who are exactly like me. In essence, basically, I'll help you build these skill sets a lot quicker than if you were to just try and fail on your own doing it by yourself. When you work with me, number one, we're probably going to share a lot of the same values and the beliefs, which is awesome. But number two, you can actually build these skill sets a lot faster because I've already gone through this myself. And I've already helped numerous guys go through this exact same process. If you want to know what that looks like, just watch my client interviews on my YouTube channel. But if you're looking for one-on-one help with getting started down the skills ladder so that you can start making like 3 to 6K per month in the beginning, but then eventually you can drop out, you can go all in, start making 5 to 10K per month, setting yourself up for a life of success, I'm working with a couple people in November to help them one-on-one get started with this process. I'll be fully transparent with you. There is a price point, but I'm quite flexible with people because I understand that not everybody is just balling in money, especially when you're quite literally looking to make money online. So if you're looking to explore that option, you can do one of two things. Either number one, you can book a call with myself directly where you and I can jump on a call and we can talk a little bit more about what this would look like and first see like if I can even help you. Or number two, if you have questions or you just want to get more information, you can DM me the word info on Instagram and reach out on there, and you and I can have a conversation in the DMs in private. We can talk more about where you're at right now, where you want to get to, why you're even considering doing something like this. And then if you're interested in the one-on-one coaching, I can share with you what the details are going to look like. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this video, and you guys take care and have a fantastic rest of your day. Okay? Peace.